is presented by Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust, serving Micronesia since 1938. Matson and the Adahi Itano program. Cars Plus, drive home in a brand new 2021 Hyundai Palisade equipped with Guam's only lifetime powertrain limited warranty. Call 477-7807 or visit carsplusguam.com. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, serving your local breakfast, lunch, and dinner favorites for over 45 years.
Ahead on primetime, the man accused of fatally shooting his friend in Dedido is back in court today, plus breaking down the numbers of GovGuam's budget after the end of first quarter. And a former Guam priest has been laicized.
Hafa good evening. I'm Adriana Cotero. 37-year-old Larry James Gagin is being held on a $250,000 cash bail for the murder of 40-year-old Jarek Unchenko. Gagin's magistrate's hearing resumed this afternoon. He appeared via Zoom with defense counsel Samuel Tecker. He faces murder in the first degree with a special allegation of possession and use of a deadly weapon in the commission of a felony and possession of a firearm without a valid firearms ID charges. The government requested the defendant remain incarcerated, arguing he is a danger to the community, and the defense did not oppose.
Your Honor, I have spoken with the family, and at this point in time, they don't want me to argue for his release at this point in time. They think that it's better where he is right now, and so I have nothing to offer. I would say that he only has 2 DUI cases, Your Honor. The bail at $250,000 seems kind of excessive. I would ask the court to reduce it to $50,000, which he's probably not going to be able to meet anyway.
Gagin's bail was not reduced and the court sided with the government. He was arrested on January 25th for the fatal shooting of Unchenko. As reported, the incident occurred on Sunday, January 24th at a makeshift structure in Dedido where the two resided. Gagin and the victim were close friends. However, a fight ensued, and according to court documents, the defendant stated he was defending his family when he shot Unchenko in the back. In court today, Attorney Tecker hinted at the possibility of seeking protection under Guam's Castle Doctrine. Gagin's next court appearance was set for February 5th. Governor Lou Leon Guerrero addressed the Chamber of Commerce today on what can be described as a State of the Economy address. She described her administration's response to the COVID pandemic and outlined her plans for economic recovery.
Thank you very much.
She began her speech by recapping the impact of the COVID pandemic and explaining that her decision to shut down the island was for the health and safety of the people.
Our numbers show that this strategy is working. We are containing the virus better than our mainland counterparts, and we are top 5 in getting vaccines into the arms of our people.
She said these are painful and difficult times and acknowledged that many businesses were forced to close their doors.
You have had to look your employee in the eye and tell them they were furloughed. You had to adopt new business models, pushing your businesses outside the box because of social distancing.
She outlined a series of local and federal assistance that the administration helped roll out, but one that the business community has been clamoring for, a rollback in the business privilege tax from 5% to 4%, she refused to budge on.
Members of the Chamber, I am here before you today to say we have to maintain the present level of BPT. Every day, I look at our government's cash report. More recent analysis by my fiscal discipline team has revealed the true impact of the Trump tax cuts to be $86 million. Over the last 3 fiscal years since 2018, we have lost nearly $200 million of our normal revenue stream because of the Trump tax cuts and this god-awful pandemic.
The governor says she's addressed the shortfall by reducing the budget by $67 million over the past 3 years and cutting the deficit from $83 million to $47. But she maintains they need the tax revenue to pay for government services.
We are in a serious crisis, and it requires me as your governor to not just look at the bottom line. It requires me to continue to provide a social safety net for our people without sacrificing a person's dignity to a decent job. Members of the Chamber, I know we don't always see eye to eye, but you and I share the same goal. building a better, stronger Guam.
For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
Just how bad will the economy be in the year ahead, and how will GovGuam respond? Those were some of the pointed questions in a wide-ranging interview on The Link Show this morning with Budget Director Lester Carlson and Legislative Finance Chairman Joe San Augustine. Nestor Lecanto breaks it down.
BBMR's Lester Carlson is cautiously optimistic about an economic recovery as the government starts to further loosen restrictions. He singled out the return of bars and renewed spending once students restart face-to-face classes as examples.
There's been some relaxation of the restrictions. There are more opportunities for economic activity. I'm sure we'll straighten out this PUA thing. And it will have the positive effect and be as far-reaching as it should be.
GovGuam is relying heavily on more federal assistance because as of December 31st, the end of the first quarter, revenues are tracking more than $11 million less than projected. Meanwhile, government leaders are under pressure to help businesses recover, and there are a series of bills by Minority Leader Jim Moylan to push back a minimum wage increase, which Senator San Augustine says he could support, and to roll back taxes that San Augustine says he could not.
That's what we got to watch out for. As they ask for all these decreases, they have to anticipate that when everything drops and there's revenue not coming in, you can't expect the government to continue to provide the services that the people want and demand.
Dropping the BPT from 5 to 4 is not stepping up. That is taking $60 million out of government operations at a time when we're in the midst of a pandemic, and that's foolish. You heard me, foolish.
So in the midst of the economic uncertainty, Carlson will have to keep a tight lid on spending, in part through a 15% cash reserve fund, now hovering at about $55 million.
We do have that money. It is unavailable for use unless I get a request. And only on its merit will I release a portion of that. And it is, as Senator San Augustine said, it's one of my most powerful budgeting tools.
The governor does have the authority to reorganize, but Carlson is strongly opposed to the notion of furloughs.
That is the worst thing that can happen because everybody else, including people who advertise on your station, won't have the benefit of the discretionary spending from the government and federal employees combined to be able to keep this economy going.
Meanwhile, the fiscal year 2022 executive budget request must be submitted to the legislature by Sunday. For Guam's News Network, I'm Nestor Lecanto.
The Department of Revenue and Taxation has begun mailing out the second round of federal stimulus checks. Director Daphne Shimizu confirms eligible residents should have begun receiving them in the mail. DRT is anticipated to pay out about $108 million for the second round of EIPs. According to federal law, it's a $600 payment for single filers, $1,200 for joint, an additional $600 for each dependent. If you didn't file your 2019 tax returns or an extension by October 15th, you might not get a stimulus check, but rather a credit. A total of 20,900 vaccinations have been administered, with 4,623 individuals being fully immunized. The Vaccine and Antiviral Prioritization Policy Committee has approved the expansion of Phase 1B to include licensed child care center workers. In addition, the VA-PPC has also expanded the qualification of Phase 1C to include patients being discharged from GMH and GRMC who are diagnosed with at least one comorbidity regardless of age. Vaccinations for Phase 1C at the UOG Fieldhouse continues until Saturday from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Those due for their second shot are reminded to bring their COVID-19 immunization card. Vaccinations at the Southern Region Community Health Center continue until Saturday as well, beginning at 8:30 a.m. for Phase 1B and 1C. The vaccination clinic at Teason High continues tomorrow from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. for school-based employees that scheduled an appointment. For the complete list of details on how to schedule an appointment, go to KUAM.com. Former Father Adrian Cristobal has officially been defrocked. According to a media release from the Archdiocese of Agana, the former priest has been laicized, which officially deprives him of clerical offices, functions, and any designated power granted to him as a cleric. He also has no right to financial support from the Archdiocese. Since 2018, at least 4 people had come forward alleging the priest sexually abused them when they were children. That same year, a canonical administrative penal process was launched after consultation with the Vatican. Over the past 2 years, Cristobal has defied orders by Archbishop Michael Burns to return to Guam. Sanctions were issued against him, forbidding him from acting as a priest in public and hearing confession. Cristobal is the former chancellor of the Archdiocese. The local church will make no further comment on the issue due to ongoing litigation. And when we return, we'll tell you about a proposal submitted to the Chamorro Land Trust Commission Board for EPAL Point. And later, the Guam Police Department rolls out a new initiative. You're watching KUAM.
Social distancing may be the new norm, but connection will always be our tradition. Through good times and tough times, we remain connected with you. Masks may be the new fashion, but protection will always be our style. You can always count on us to protect the things that matter the most. Sanitizing may be the new routine, but caring will always be our practice. We care about your loved ones and the things you value the most. And as we welcome our new normal, one thing remains certain: we will always be here for you. We're open and ready to serve you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
For all those going out each day, doing what they can to hold us all together, we're here to help those helping us all by keeping our lights on.
KUAM News, winner of the 2020 Regional Edward R. Murrow Award for Excellence in Social Media.
Welcome back. Established by law more than 20 years ago, we could finally see the Guam Ethics Commission get to work and accept complaints from the public about government corruption. Out of a field of 4 applicants, the commission selected Jesse John Kenga to serve as its executive director. He is the executive director for the Guam Commission for Educator Certification and previously served as the assistant director of the Regional Center for Public Policy at the University of Guam. He holds a master's in public administration from the University of Guam. Although he was selected by the commission, he still needs to be officially appointed by the governor and then must be confirmed by the legislature. The salary for the position is roughly $70,000 a year. The Chamorro Land Trust Commission Board has created an internal committee to review a proposal submitted to the agency for use of its most prime piece of property known as EPAL Point. Sabrina Salas-Matanani reports.
Fruits, vegetables, homeless, housing, and hemp. All ideas contained in a proposal submitted by Pacific Human Resource Services and Manja Nirvana.
So it was a new, I'll say a very new and unique concept I had never heard of before.
According to CLTC Administrator Jack Hattig, the proposal is to establish a housing community with vans that have been repurposed to be used as shelters for homeless people.
And they're proposing to construct these domiciles on in a botanical setting. That's what the proposal on a piece of property that potentially can be used to farm, so that the homeless, in exchange basically for staying in the domicile, they would ranch and farm. And the farming that was done would be self-sufficient, so it would be enough for them. Then eventually they would expand into farming so that they could sell and make a little money for themselves. And then it would expand also further. They had another phase of it that would incorporate prefabricated, kind of like a factory in a box. So it's prefabricated homes. So that was further down the road.
Hattig says the CLTC needs more information about the proposal and whether it would generate much needed revenue for the agency. The EPAL Point property, which is commercially zoned, is sat undeveloped for decades. Over the years, many proposals have been submitted, including most recently plans to construct an assisted living community for the island's elderly, but nothing has materialized. Haddock says he is working with the Guam Economic Development Authority to develop a request for proposal for potential developers to respond.
We were kind of looking for it to be potentially a revenue generating opportunity for the trust so that we could sustain ourselves, for a long period of time.
Haddock stressing the CLTC needs to generate revenue as projections show it could become insolvent by 2024. According to news files, the value of the EPAL Point property has been estimated between $50 million to $200 million. Reporting for Guam's News Network, I'm Sabrina Salas, Matanani.
The latest from murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial. Government witness Matthew Sablan testifies he lied to officers the night of Keith Castro's homicide because he did not want to snitch. Sablan's house in Chico is where Castro was killed in July 2019. He testified the victim was tortured to his death. Here's more from Superior Court Judge Vern Perez's courtroom.
In this investigation, when they were trying to find the murderer of Keith Castro, you were just giving a little bit of the information?
Yes.
I'll ask that again. Why?
I don't know.
Were you scared?
Yes.
Government witness Matthew Sablan testifies for a third day in murder defendant Joshua Palacios' trial. Palacios is accused for fatally shooting Keith Castro on July 28, 2019 at Sablan's home in Chico. Defense counsel Tom Fisher cross-examines the witness.
On the 28th of July, 2019, after the event, you were questioned by members of the Guam Police Department. Is that correct?
Yes.
And when you were questioned by members of the Guam Police Department, you said that you could not identify either the two men involved or the two women involved, correct?
Yes.
And why was it, but you did know that Mossy was the one who was striking Keith, correct?
Yes.
And why is it that you withheld that information?
I didn't want to snitch.
So it's fair to say you are willing to lie to protect somebody, correct?
Yes.
Thomas Taitino, otherwise known as Mossy, pled guilty to aggravated assault for beating Castro with a metal baton. In court this afternoon, Sablan testifies it was a torturous assault.
It appeared that Keith was crawling at least at some point?
Yes.
And did it appear to you that he was crawling in any particular direction?
Underneath my car.
Is that the Lexus?
Yes.
Do you think he was trying to protect himself by crawling underneath your Lexus SUV?
Yes.
And in the process of Keith trying to protect himself, did Mossy continue to beat him?
Yes.
Sir, that sounds quite a bit like torture. Do you agree?
Yes.
The night of the incident, Sablan and past government witnesses, including Mossy, testified they were high on meth. Attorney Fisher questioned Sablan's involvement with the drug industry and further brought into evidence his interview with the Guam Police Department.
Do you remember telling Officer Mondia that you were trying to stop the fight and a bald guy aimed a pistol at you and said back the off?
Yes.
In that conversation, did you say words to the effect, "I don't want to be next"?
Yes.
In the course of that conversation that was lasting throughout the early morning hours of July 29, 2019, did the name Leighton Borja get mentioned?
Yes, by Officer Mendia.
Did you ever mention it?
No.
Did Mossy arrive at your house after he received a call from Josh Taitino?
Yes.
And is it your testimony, sir, that he came to your house to inquire after the pickup truck, but also to beat up Keith?
Yes.
You testified yesterday, sir, that you know Josh Taitino, isn't that correct?
Yes.
Leighton Borja is a repeated offender, his criminal history dating as far back to 2007, having passed federal drug-related convictions. For now, Borja's connection to the Castro case is unclear. As for the other named individual, Josh Tysono, he is the brother of Mossy. Mossy has testified he went to Sablan's home to confront Castro for talking about his family on social media. Palacios' trial resumes tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Guam Shipyard will have to pay a $68,000 penalty as part of a settlement with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency for violations of the Clean Water Act. The violations stem from the Guam Shipyard not implementing sufficient pollution controls to prevent the discharge of contaminants into Apra Harbor. The company is required to install preventative measures to reduce the discharge of pollutants like sandblast and paint debris and stormwater to the harbor. We communicate online, pay our bills online, and shop for goods online. And with GPD's new Internet Safe Exchange program, that experience just got a little safer. Here's more.
Since the introduction of Facebook groups like Guahan Sales and Guam Grabs, buying and selling online has gained popularity. But when it comes to the actual transaction of goods, things can seem a little sketchy. Fortunately, the Guam Police Department is taking a proactive approach, launching their Internet Safe Exchange program to provide everyone with a little peace of mind when they meet up with a seller or buyer they've met over the Internet. Chief of Police Steve Ignacio.
So really the Internet Safe Exchange program is a way for the people that in our community who are buying or selling products from people from online, such as Facebook or Instagram. It provides designated parking stalls within the police precincts or police facilities so that people can come and conduct those transactions.
Chief Ignacio says the program is a safer alternative to meeting in a random parking lot or residence. The Safe Exchange Zone stalls have already been set up at the Central and Dedido Precinct Command, with the Agate Precinct Command stall to be set up soon. Although the zones will be located at precincts throughout the island, Ignacio made it clear that GPD is just providing a safe space and will not have any part of the transaction process.
We're not there to act as witnesses to their transactions. We're not there to provide any legal advice or settle civil matters regarding our civil disputes regarding their transactions.
The idea of the program was brought forth by a GPD victim advocate, Devin Martinez.
What better place to conduct business, especially if you're meeting up with someone you don't know. And it's important to remind everybody that not everyone you interact with online can be trusted completely. So these exchange zones will give them a safe place to come. They don't have to meet up at random locations chosen by someone they don't know. And most importantly, it's important to remember to trust your instincts. If something doesn't feel right about it, don't do it.
According to Chief Ignacio, the zones will be on a first-come, first-served basis, with the hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. For Guam's News Network, I'm Peter Santos.
Thank you, Peter. And coming up, a look at national headlines. You're watching KUAM.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Mas.
It makes myself and it makes my team members very proud to work for an organization that has been on island for many years with its focus on reliability, dependability, and commitment to the communities that they operate in.
Matson's a great corporate citizen to the community.
We all benefit from any sort of environmental commitment we make. One of the ways that we do that is with our Adahi Utano program. There's action behind it, and so action breeds commitment.
With the Kaimana Gila coming to Guam, this brings a new age and modernization to the island.
It's exciting for me because it's a brand new ship and we can carry more freight into the island. It just shows growth for Guam and Micronesia.
Matson would be nothing without its customers, and we hope to continue to serve you for decades to come.
So long, nacho fries.
Whenever Taco Bell takes them off the menu, he can't escape the cravings. Nacho fries.
Escape your cravings with our nacho fries box. Run to Taco Bell.
We get it. Living to the fullest is tough during COVID-19. You don't need to do it alone, and everyone needs a hand right now. We are here. Feeling overwhelmed? Call 647-8833 and let's talk. Mangagihem is a project of Guam Behavioral Health and Wellness Center.
Guam is truly a majestic place with its sheer natural beauty, wealth of beaches, and culturally rich landscape. Unfortunately, Guam has a real problem with unwanted invasive species. Help us in preventing their introduction and spread. The coconut rhinoceros beetle, the little fire ant, the African snail, Siam weed. These are just a few of the numerous invasives on Guam. Follow proper custom procedures when bringing plants and animals into Guam.
Help protect Guam. Tell your family and friends about invasive species.
To report invasive species, call 475-PEST.
The second impeachment trial of former President Donald Trump took another step forward today as the members of the Senate were sworn in as jurors. Skylar Henry reports from the Capitol Hill.
Do you solemnly swear?
Senators swore an oath as they became jurors Tuesday in the second impeachment trial of former President Trump.
So help you God.
It comes a day after House managers delivered to the Senate a sole article of impeachment against Mr. Trump, accusing him of inciting the deadly riot at the Capitol on January 6th.
To me, what Trump did was the most despicable thing any president has ever done. I believe he should be convicted.
But some Republicans question whether the Senate has the right to hold the trial.
If the accused is no longer president, where is the constitutional power to impeach him?
Chief Justice John Roberts presided over the first impeachment trial because Mr. Trump was a sitting president. This time, it's Vermont Senator Patrick Leahy presiding.
Republicans say having the long-serving Democrat in this role reeks of partisanship.
Democrats brazenly appointing a pro-impeachment Democrat to preside over the trial is not fair or impartial.
There will now be 2 weeks of pretrial proceedings, with the trial set to begin the week of February 8th. Skylar Henry reporting for KUAM News.
When we return, your birthday shout-outs don't go away.
For the different beats of your life, we're here to keep you connected the way you want it. Plans made for you, by you. Build your own bundle with Link. Select the internet, entertainment, mobile, and home phone plans that fit your lifestyle. Pay for what you want, not for what you don't. Build your own bundle and save with Link.
And before we close out the news tonight, our latest round of birthday shout-outs from the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club.
Happy birthday on January 27th to Rokai Koa Blas, who celebrates birthday number 2 today. Getting love from mommy, daddy, and your brothers, sisters, and family. Hadrian Reyes and Nicholas Torres, happy birthday number 9 to the mungiest boboy ever. Your family says they're sending you all of their love. Viva cumpleaños to Papa Gigo, otherwise known as Pedro Sablan. We hope you have a wonderful day, and God bless and protect you always. We love and miss you, say your familia. And happy birthday to Pearl Sablan Moorer. Happy birthday, Auntie Pearl. We love and miss you. We hope that you have a good day coming from your loving familia as well. And Denisho Ogo has a belated birthday wish, born on January the 26th. Wishing our amazing boy the happiest 14th birthday. Always remember you are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, smarter than you think, and loved more than you'll ever know. We love you. Say Daddy, Mommy, Des, Dante, Rowena, Danny, AJ, and Adrian. And happy belated birthday wishes also going out to Rowan Meach, who was born on the 25th. Happy birthday to you, Rowan, from your family and friends.
Remember, you can be part of the Cold Stone Creamery Birthday Club already.